A concussion is when the brain suffers trauma, usually resulting in loss of consciousness. In MMA, there's many ways to get a concussion, from a punch, kick, knee, elbow, or slam. This is a list of fighters who have been on the receiving end of a knockout more than most, making them some of the most concussed fighters in MMA. UFC Hall of Famer Ken Shamrock has been fighting since 1993 and has accumulated 17 losses in his MMA career, 11 of them by knockout.
Oh, that jab hurt Ken. And Shamrock goes down!
He's lost 10 of his last 13 fights, either by KO or TKO, most recently against 50-year-old submission specialist Royce Gracie.
And Royce Gracie ends the fight with strikes.
Shamrock has been criticized for fighting well past his prime, and at 52 years old still hasn't announced any plans for retirement. Shamrock's bell has been rung so many times throughout his illustrious career that even the slightest punch will separate him from consciousness.
Oh, and now pushing into Shamrock, and he closes it in, and he does it!
Shamrock has already stated that his brain isn't functioning normally and has a swollen pituitary gland. Shamrock also recently tested positive for PEDs after his last fight, testing positive for steroids and methadone. Alistair Overeem is no stranger to head trauma and has been finished via strikes 10 times over his 17-year career. Overeem gained his fame fighting in Pride FC throughout his early career, with 14 total fights in the organization and getting TKO'd 5 times.
Those lefts, and it is over!
Overeem has attempted to avoid the knockout by training hard and growing his head size well out of normal proportions, which surprisingly didn't seem to help much. Overeem was signed to the UFC in 2011 and currently has 6 wins and 4 losses inside the octagon, with every loss coming the same way, by knockout.
Oh, this one's gonna end! Ben Rockwell has done it!
Gary Big Daddy Goodridge fought professionally for 14 years in both MMA and kickboxing and is responsible for some of the most iconic knockouts in the sport.
Oh my, elbows in number by Goodridge, and that is it.
Goodridge retired in 2010 after developing CTE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy.
Mental disability is a huge thing. It's got me crippled.
CTE is a degenerative brain disease for those who have suffered head trauma over a long period of time, and Goodridge has endured more than his share of trauma over the years. Goodridge is now showing signs of CTE, such as memory loss and speech problems due to the repeated blows he's taken, and is currently taking medicine to manage the symptoms.
I truly, honestly believe if it wasn't for the pills that I'm taking, my life would have been done a long time ago.
Think you may have?
Oh, absolutely.
Would you have?
I would have taken my life, yes, absolutely.
Goodridge has been KO'd at least 24 times, with 10 TKO losses in MMA and 24 in kickboxing. This is James Thompson's brain before he started fighting, and this is his brain now.
Any questions?
Thompson has been KO'd 13 times in his 12-year career by some of MMA's biggest hitters.
Oh, that's about it! That's about it!
Thompson has been criticized throughout his career for his lack of durability. For such a big guy, it doesn't take a lot to fell this giant.
It's on the way! Thompson is down!
The Colossus burst onto the MMA scene in Pride FC and gained popularity for his sheer intensity. Unfortunately, that didn't translate into actual wins.
And rock big time! And it's over!
James Thompson last fought against 46-year-old Tsuyoshi Kosaka at Rizin in 2015. Kosaka, who hasn't won a fight via TKO since 2006, stopped Thompson early in the second round. James is mostly known for his grueling fight with Kimbo Slice. The fight was stopped early in the third round after his ear exploded.
Here's that big punch that pops that ear, I think. Oh, look at that, ear just popped right open.
And a few honorable mentions. Olaf Alfonso has been KO'd 8 times in his MMA career and has developed a knack for getting knocked out in spectacular fashion. Kazuyuki Fujita went from the nickname Old Ironhead to just Old Head. With a cranium this big, you'd think it'd be harder to knock out Antonio Bigfoot Silva. On the contrary.
First, the jab from Corbin. Down goes Silva!
Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe.